Welcome back to FedBiz Exchange. I'm Michelle Brown, your coach and your mentor. I know it's been a long time. It's been too long, and I miss you guys too. I have a lot going on. Some of you guys know that. I have more than one business, and for me to continue helping you grow, I have to continue my entrepreneurial growth journey as well. So forgive me. You guys give me a lot of mercy, but I'm happy to be back. And today I want to talk to you guys about my pricing and growth strategies for you as it relates to you winning DLA contracts. Some of you have been winning, whether you're in my program or not, but as I teach my business proteges, you have to have a vision. You have to make sure that you're focused on a strategy and you're not just out there winning, because you can win. It sounds like fun. But one day, if the growth is not happening the way you would like, or the growth is not moving as fast as you would like, because you can make this go fast. It can go fast, but what about where you're headed? So you need a vision, you need strategies, you need to understand what it's going to take for you to get to that next level, or even what it takes for you to be where you want to be. No matter how much revenue you want to generate, no matter what you're trying to do in your business world, in your personal life, you need a plan, and you will always need a plan to do things like this, to do business, period. So let's get into it. Pricing and growth strategies for DLA contracts and what you must do to ensure that you're accelerating the growth of your business. So in general, there are a lot of things I'd like to discuss with you, but there are some key strategies. But one of the main priorities um, that I talk to my proteges about is making sure that when you're looking around for a product, even if you like a certain product but you're not finding it, maybe you just want to win. And that's what most people want to do. They just want to win. They want to experience winning. They want to move to that next place. And then they start looking for specific things in an industry that maybe they know already. It doesn't matter. Either way, for you to get in and start winning, number one, you need to know steps one, which is your products, choosing your products, step two, and step three. You need to choose a product, you need to work with a supplier that you can trust, and you need to bid. Those are the three main things you need to do. Now, I know I make them sound very simple, and they are simple, because they're segmented into categories. So step one, there's some things you do in step one. Step two, there are things you do in step two. And step three, there are things you do in step three. By the time that you really understand step one, you need to keep an eye out for areas that have what I call longevity. That would be FSC categories. And this is my term. I call it a category because you can choose one FSC category. For instance, 5306, that's hardware, bolts and screws and all those kinds of things under hardware, but you're going to have thousands of products under 5306. So you can be a multimillionaire doing bolts and screws and brackets under 5306. You'll probably get bored once you start winning a lot in that category, but that's okay. The goal is for you to start winning. You need to learn the system of the 3 steps, and then you implement. That is why a lot of people use my hot list, because they want to go fast. But it also helps them to understand what I mean when I say specific FSC categories. Many of my proteges, they find a product that they like from that hot list, and they see that it's low competition because that hot list has enough products on there for them to move quickly, but also to learn and implement what they learned in the program. That's how you get good at things. You practice. You do what you learned, and you continue to do what you learn. You grow, you win, you learn, you grow, you win. It is a consistent process. And you're also winning in many cases, especially with DLA, you're winning while you're learning, and you're learning while you're winning. So that's the beauty of this. So you want to find an FSC category that has a lot of activity and that is low competition. How can you tell it's low competition? You can tell it's low competition because they always have thousands of products sitting there. There's nothing wrong with those products. Some of you see that and you think, oh, there must be a problem. No, there's no problem. It's just there are a lot of lazy people out there that don't want to do the work. You could find 4 suppliers and maybe only one of them is any good. And if you're with me, I teach you to vet those suppliers before you talk to them, whether they're a manufacturer, a distributor, or a third party. So people don't want to do that work. They want to take shortcuts, and that's why they don't win, or that's why they get burned through the back door, as Richard would say. So your goal is to find products that you see a lot of activity. It's not bad when you see that. It's excellent when you see that. To me, that's low competition, because if someone like you, who's a contractor, if someone was taking care of those products that are out there and taking care of their clients, their DLA clients, all of those wouldn't be sitting there. They're sitting there waiting for you, but you need to know what to do when you see them. So FSC categories that provide lots of opportunities. So you're looking for the FSC codes. When you look on that list, you see all of these FSC codes. You choose one of those codes, you research it, and then you get to the DLA bid board system and you see, oh my goodness, 5306 has contracts out there for days. They're not just quotes that you're doing or bids that you're doing. Those are contracts waiting for you. Okay. So there are 3 things, 3 key areas that I want you to pay attention to. That would be what's on the solicitation. You need to learn how to read the solicitation. You need to walk through the solicitation, because that solicitation is going to give you a head start and help you get your thoughts together. It'll help you in most cases, 99% of the time. It'll give you pricing, not all of the time, but sometimes it'll give you previous history on pricing, even if it's been years. Okay, and I'll talk to you about pricing a little bit more in number 2, but you need to look at the history and the pricing. You also need to look at the packaging. You need to look at the QUP. You need to look at the packaging code. Is it 3951? Is it 2073? Those tell you how you need to package the product. If it's 3951, you could almost take some clues from the supplier, which could be the manufacturer or the distributor that sent it to you. So those are the things you need to pay attention to. And you look at those things before you contact the supplier. You need to have your stuff together before you pick up the phone. And then your step 2 is now you're wanting to talk with the supplier, but you need to vet them, which is one of my hidden secrets that I tell people. Why did you call that person without vetting them? I had to learn that many years ago when I started doing DLA. You don't just pick up the phone and call people, you do some investigation, because you could have 5 suppliers or potential so-called approved sources, and they're not real approved sources. They're winners, just like you're going to be. So you need to know who you're dealing with. And if you're calling an award winner, you just told them about what you're going to do. And some of you guys know that I talk about that in my program. So make sure you know who you're talking to. Do your vetting first and realize all of these approved sources that they have, that the system generates. Because when you become a winner, you could be considered an approved source, but you're really a competitor to someone else. So remember that. Understand who you're talking to. But number 2 is about higher pricing also. I have a lot of people in the past, not anymore, that would get stuck. They're thinking, I have to beat the previous price. That's because it did used to be that way. Even I taught you to think about that. And you still need to think about that. Pricing is still key. but pricing is based on where you are at that time. We are in very strange inflationary times, and now it's going to get worse because of these tariffs. You don't want to try to think about what the contracting officer is going to do or say. You're thinking to yourself, I would not choose that person. You don't know what they would do. You might be the only person showing up. And you may think that price is high, but it's not high to the government because number one, they don't have a choice. If they had all these choices, they would be choosing you. You get worried that the price has gone up so much. So what? That's the price today. Where in 2025 and 2023, the price may have been $20 per unit. Now it's 50. That's the price. You need to take that price, add your profit margins on it, and we are not in a situation where we can say, how much should I add? 15%? Don't do that. Look at the situation. Now, those of you that are in my program, you know, I tell you, there are other factors that involved in whether or not you're going to add 10%, 20%, or 30%. Now, if you're making the product, you're going to be able to add as much as you want to because you have control over the items that you make for DLA. I know a lot of you guys are not there, but that's where my proteges are headed, especially in my mastermind group. That's all we want to think about and prepare for and talk about is getting ready to be ready. And that means if I've been bidding on something in a category just off the shelf, as we say, and it's already made, I can just go buy it somewhere. That could be maybe I'm making 10% at profit. But if I decide to make that same product in that same FSC category, it's just a different part, but it's in the same FSC category, I could make as much as 50% profit, 80% profit, 90%, because that's how much these items are marked up. But for those of you that are not making these items, like some of us are, you have to deal with the price for the part that you get. And then number three, managing expenses. These three categories, you need to focus on all three of these. When you understand the solicitations, you look out for things that could cost you extra money. So managing your expenses. There's a difference between packaging for commercial, which is $39.51, and packaging that is for a product that is specialized, which is 2073 1E or 2073D. There's a difference in packaging, not a whole lot. Also, uh, don't overestimate about packaging. Now, one other thing you should consider is maybe in the beginning, you only do origin. You only do the free shipping that the government gives you. Maybe that's how you help to manage your expenses so that you don't have to put so much out in the beginning. And that could be a little bit challenging because you can have an FSC category that has a lot of activity, but not all of them are origin. So you'd have to go through each of the items to see, do they have shipping that's origin for certain types of products? Okay. So these three areas, solicitations, understanding your solicitation, how to read it. Number two, the higher pricing. Don't do that to yourself. Now, sometimes it'll be the opposite. Sometimes you will find that an item is so cheap, you can't even believe it. Okay, so that happens too. It happens a lot, by the way.